At Sierra, discover joyous deals on great gifts for everyone on your list, like cozy slippers, ski gear, fishing poles, bikes, large kayaks, even larger canoes. Whew, which might lead to another discovery. Wrapping gifts is the only sport you need to stay fit this season. 'Tis the season to discover great gifts at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. Global superstar and comedy sensation Kevin Hart returns for his 5th Netflix special, Acting My Age.
I'm not the same man that I used to be. I go down the stairs sideways. Go ahead, you in a rush? Go around.
With a fresh perspective on life, family, and getting older.
Older you get, the less you can have. Is it sesame seeds on that bun? Get it out of here!
Kevin's bringing his signature high-energy humor and physical comedy in a true return to his stand-up origins. Watch Kevin Hart, Acting My Age, now streaming only on Netflix.
The Last Show with David Cooper, where we apply quantum mechanical psychoanalytical astrotherapy to your problems.
Singlehood, being a bachelor or bachelorette, isn't a fixed state for one's life, but a shifting journey that can be shaped by age and your identity and other factors. Some long-term singles struggle while others adapt and thrive. We're going to talk about why with someone who's done research in this area. She's a PhD researcher in sociology at the University of Antwerp in Belgium, and her name is Elise at Hoen. Elise, welcome to the show.
Hi, David. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Couples shift a lot in their lives. There's the honeymoon phase. If they're going to get married, there's the phase before they get married, after, kids, old age. They go through all these phases in life. So it shouldn't be surprising to us that people who are single go through phases too. But I think often we think of singles as this static thing, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. It's also something we're looking at in our research is like the singleton trajectory. And instead of just thinking about singles as people who are single for the rest of their life or just right now, the singleton trajectory looks at it as periods of singlehood alternating with periods of a relationship. So it's definitely different phases we can go through and not something that is like set or static.
So what are some of the phases that folks who are single, whether for a long time or between relationships, like you say, what are some of the phases we go through?
Yeah, things we see nowadays is things like situationships or friends with benefits. It's not like straightforward having a relationship and being single. There are all these different kind of types of relationships that people experiment with and see what suits them best. And then eventually they might make the choice to settle down and be in a romantic relationship with someone. Or they might say, hey, I'm not ready, and that's fine as well.
So on to the study. You didn't just do like a one small sample set. You looked at a huge amount of data, a longitudinal approach, as it said. What do you think you were able to uncover looking at many studies that would have been maybe invisible in a one-time survey?
Well, what we did was look at people who were single for at least 9 years. And we looked at how their satisfaction with singlehood evolved because we were mostly interested, did it change? Did it remain the same? Was there some kind of acceptance over these 9 years? So something we kind of expected going into the study was that like this stereotype or the stigma, the longer you are single, the less satisfied you are with being single. And at first it started out like that. But when looking at different contexts, like for example, bringing in age, we noticed that it wasn't that straightforward, and that it does matter who you are and in which phase you are in your life, whether you're satisfied with the single status or not.
One thing I found interesting was one's desire for a relationship. So suppose I'm single for a long time or have long periods of singlehood, but I have this strong desire to be in a relationship versus someone who just doesn't. That's a predictor in how satisfied someone is with their life. I guess that's not surprising, but it's interesting to actually get the data to prove it. Can you say more about that?
Yeah, exactly. It's associated like people who indicated they have a desire or they want to be in a relationship, we noticed that they are significantly less satisfied with being single than those who indicated that they did not desire such relationship. So we also looked at it across the years over time, whether if desire remains, whether your single with satisfaction changed like over time. That was something that wasn't significant. So it's not that you can say the longer someone indicates of having a desire, like being kind of desperate, you could say. We expected that to really have an influence on your singlet satisfaction. Unfortunately, we found no significant results on that, like in either way. But it is important to notice that having a desire really relates to having less satisfaction with being single.
Interesting. Do people sometimes adapt in old age, though? For example, I expected in my life to be coupled up. I'm not. I find myself a little bit older. Am I likely to adapt, or am I likely still to be unsatisfied as a single person?
Yeah, that's something we saw in people of older age, that we expect them to adapt because, well, in older age, you might have the acceptance towards your single status. You might have the feeling, okay, I don't have these life stages or life tasks I need to fulfill. For example, like in middle age, we see people wanting to settle down, start a family. So there's this thing of a biological clock, which kind of disappears in older age. And also, like companies, with the companies, this exception is having a lot of friends and family, for example, that buffer the lack of having a partner. So the needs to have someone romantic in your life kind of fades away. I'm not saying it disappears completely, but it might be buffered in some way.
Interesting. Was there any difference, however small, in the genders between people who identified as men, women? Was that something that you saw?
Like a very clear difference between men and women overall, no, unfortunately. But what we did see was with men and women who indicated to have desire, that over time, women had a steeper decline in their singlehood satisfaction, where men more or less remained stable.
Interesting. Now, people who have this idea that they have singlehood identity, like someone who's happy being single, who says they don't want to be in a relationship, who wants to structure their life alone, how do they fit into your survey or your findings?
Well, I think that's a really interesting group to look at. These are people who, indicating to have no desire to be pleased with life the way it is. Maybe they don't feel pressure from the outside world, like looking at people in your environment, seeing how they are coupled with people, or maybe just focusing on yourself, developments, a career or jobs, or school, education. So yeah, of course, these people exist too, and it's not like they don't matter at all. It's just something that is more rising nowadays, but not as prevalent as like the overarching idea of wanting to be in a couple.
Maybe you didn't cover this, but you could speculate. Do people in that group generally identify as happy, fulfilled throughout their lives, or not?
Well, that's something we didn't look at it in detail, but we did see that those indicating not wanting or desiring a relationship were happy with being single. Like a next step that would be very interesting to look at is whether life satisfaction also, or how life satisfaction correlates with this singlehood satisfaction. But for now, we know that they are more or less fine with being single. Yeah.
Well, Elise Hoen is a PhD researcher in sociology at the University of Antwerp in Belgium. Elise, I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your research with me. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Doug.
Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu? Is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.